Welcome into 49ers Access. My name is Sterling Bennett, and today we have two major topics to dive into. One of those being, should the San Francisco 49ers make a trade for Miami Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey? And Brandon Aiyuk has stepped right back into the drama-filled bucket, and he has the fan base talking about a trade once again. We'll dive into what he said, on what platform, and then we'll get into exactly how San Francisco should approach the wide receiver situation going forward. But first, I want to ask you to like, share, and subscribe on the audio podcasting platforms. Give us a 5-star audio podcasting review if you can. It is the cheapest, freest, and easiest way to help the show out. And let's dive into the San Francisco 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk, because I have been watching a ton of Love Island with my wife. Today's Tuesday. They're in Casa Amor. I can't wait to get back to it tonight at 6 p.m. on the West Coast. But I thought that was as much as a drama I could take until Brandon Aiyuk posted on YouTube, of all places, on the community tab, discussing trades and kind of calling out some people, and it has the fan base up in arms. People are kind of just questioning, what exactly is Brandon Aiyuk doing? Because it seems like every time he speaks, every time we hear his name, it's never attached to anything good. It's never, oh, Aiyuk's rehab is going well. Oh, Aiyuk's coming back better. Never. It's always, Aiyuk said what? Aiyuk posted what? Why did he do that? And it always seems to have the fan base questioning, did we make the right move in signing him to a 4-year, $120 million extension? I get the fan base is upset about it and all that stuff, but I honestly laughed when I saw the reaction people were having to what Aiyuk said on the YouTube community tab, and I'll show it to you here in a second. But first, I want to say, what's up, Papa J? Like and subscribe if you can. And Bobo coming in hot already, saying I'd trade Aiyuk and a first-round pick to Miami for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey. I don't think Miami would say yes to that, but I like where your head's at. But let's talk about the Brandon Aiyuk drama, because he posted on the YouTube community tab. You can see on your screen on YouTube right here. And I'll quote here. About 24 hours ago now, they was talking about trading me while I was off Percocets and muscle relaxers and peeing in a cup by my bed. And first off, that is a visual I did not need in my life. That is a visual that I never wanted to think about, of Aiyuk being, I guess you could say, drugged on Percocets and muscle relaxers, trying to pee in a cup next to his bed. So thank you, BA, for that image in my brain forever now. When my wife asked me, Sterling, why are you up at 2:30 in the morning with cold sweats? I'll say it because Brandon Aiyuk's message right here about peeing in a cup with Percocets and muscle relaxers in his system. But he continues. Couldn't walk for 10 weeks. Ain't nobody trading for me. Laughing emoji and the skull emoji as well. Now, a lot of people interpreted this, I think, really incorrectly. People took the first word, they as in the San Francisco 49ers. And I think that is inherently incorrect. I do not think Brandon Aiyuk, of all people, is calling out the San Francisco 49ers. Don't forget, they paid him. 4 years, $120 million. They botched that entire negotiation, and he was the victor. He was the one to be the winner of the negotiations. He is one of the big contracts. They were sitting back like, oh my God, what did we do? I don't think he's pissed at the organization, nor, despite what people may say out there, has the organization been openly shopping him this offseason. Now, yes, they have been open to trading him. Those are very different things. You can be open to trading somebody, but not fielding offers for them. You can be open to trading somebody and not actively shopping them to other teams. I do not think San Francisco is calling the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Patriots saying, hey, do you want Brandon Aiyuk? What do you want for him? They weren't doing that. Now, if the Patriots called them and the Steelers called them, different question. They would then negotiate, hey, what do you want? What are you feeling? That's entirely different. And from all intents and purposes, Aiyuk and the organization are in pretty good standing now. Aiyuk's in the receiver meetings, kind of acting as a quasi coach. Now, you can bicker and kind of argue as to what was that his call? Was that the team's call? I have no idea. It doesn't matter to me. He's a leader. He's getting paid $120 million the next 3 or 4 seasons. I don't care whose call that was. As long as you're in there helping young guys grow, I don't care. That said, they in this comment he's making, they was talking about trading me while I was on Percocets and muscle relaxers, peeing in a cup by my bed, couldn't walk for 10 weeks, ain't nobody trading for me. The they to me is not San Francisco. It's not John Lynch. It's not Kyle Shanahan. It's not Prog Marate, Jed York. The they in this case is people like me. It's people like you. Is other content creators, other parts of the fan base, other journalists who continually toss out Aiyuk's name on their YouTube channels, in their articles, like we've seen the last couple of months or so. Aiyuk to Pittsburgh, to the Patriots for a second-round pick or a third-round pick, or more recently, you've seen some people say, trade Aiyuk to Washington for Terry McLaurin. I think Aiyuk's just kind of fed up here and like, look, how many times get to toss my name out there before you realize I'm not getting traded. I'm not getting moved. I couldn't walk for 10 weeks. I had my ACL reconstructed. I had my MCL reconstructed. They had to repair other ligaments in my knee. Nobody's trading for me. Nobody was going to trade for me no matter how bad you wanted them to. No matter how bad you want me off the team and how bad and angry you were against me, no one's trading for me. They in this case is not the San Francisco 49ers. And anybody thinking that, I think really should turn the tide as to who has been tossing Aiyuk's name out there in trade conversations, in trade talks, and these mock trades week in, week out. Content creators, social media teams like FanDuel, Fox, ESPN, others along those lines, PFF. The team has not even brought up Brandon Aiyuk's name once unless they're asked about him directly. When John Lynch talked about Brandon Aiyuk during the combine, he didn't bring him up because he wanted to. He was brought up because he was asked about him. And even after his combine press conference was asked by Jennifer Lee Chan, would you trade Brandon Aiyuk? And he said, probably not. The they here is not the San Francisco 49ers. The drama, this is not Aiyuk directing his anger or disdain to the team paying him $30 million a year. This is Aiyuk directing his frustration to people like me, to people like other content creators saying, why do you continually toss my name in these trade conversations, in these mock trades, knowing that I couldn't walk for 10 weeks and my rehab essentially just started. He was running recently. He was jogging recently. So there are good signs ahead, but the they. Now, I do find the timing of this really interesting. Like, why are we putting this on the YouTube community tab, which is a very awkward place where it'd be somewhat hidden? I get BA's trying to kind of make himself a YouTube star, if you will, a content creator, if he vlogs and stuff, which is fine. That's the day and age we live in. However, why not put it on Twitter? Why not put it on Instagram? What an awkward place for this to get buried. Like, the only reason why I saw this was because somebody else saw it. And I was like, who's checking Brandon Aiyuk's YouTube? No one cares. No one cares about my YouTube. No one cares about his YouTube. It's like, oh yeah, Aiyuk posted whatever. Like, most of the fan base doesn't even like Brandon Aiyuk at this point in time. What an awkward place to point this out. But even then, I think the most interesting tidbit of this post isn't they talking about trading me part. I think it shows you exactly how severe the injury he had was. Yeah, that's how you word that. What's going on, Tommy? What's going on, you little fairy, in the comments? Thank you for watching the show. But I think that the most interesting part here is that I couldn't walk for 10 weeks. Ain't nobody trading for me. And we've had a long discussion on this show and others about when Aiyuk will come back. And it may be as early as October, Could be November. That's my choice. Week 10 is my pick for his return date, but that's neither here nor there. Knowing it was 10 weeks, 2.5 months before he can even walk again without help, that shows you how serious his knee. Like I've gotten a torn meniscus before. I walked out of the surgery with the brace on, no crutches, no wheelchair, done. Minor surgery, no big deal. ACL is obviously a bigger thing, but it wasn't just the ACL, which even on an ACL, you probably walk out with crutches. Maybe I'm wrong there, but it seems like modern medicine certainly makes it more likely that's the case. But it wasn't just an ACL. It was an MCL. It was other ligaments in the knee. And he hurt that puppy in November? Early November-ish, October? He didn't walk until January. That is so severe. Where as a fan of the team, someone that covers the team, one that worries me a lot because it's like, is he ever going to come back the same? Like that was my instant thought when he initially got hurt of like, oh, this could be the end. Because it's not just one ligament, it's all of them inside of there. There's other damage outside of the main three, ACL and MCL, right? So that does raise a higher level of concern for myself, saying, is Aiyuk really ever going to be the same again? Which you hope so. Like you're paying him a ton of money and you like Brandon Aiyuk, at least I still do. You hope he can be fine, but couldn't walk for 10 weeks. That's a very serious injury. But two, for those of you out there that want to trade Brandon Aiyuk, this should mortify you because if you can't get him back healthy and not being able to walk for 10 weeks shows you how severe it was, you ain't trading Aiyuk either if he ain't healthy. So I think in kind of a twofold way, both sides of the coin here shouldn't be focusing on they was talking about trading me portion of his post. This should be the couldn't walk for 10 weeks. Oh my God, why did it take 2.5 months for Brandon Aiyuk to start walking again? And it should show you how serious the injury was, but also how long it may take him to come back from the injury. Do not rush him. Do not rush him. Don't be like Hudda and Jeremiah in Love Island and rush into a relationship and all of a sudden someone's crashing out. You don't want to be like that. You're going to be off the island relatively quick if you're doing that stuff. I don't want to see that on my Niners, right? No drama, right? I want to see Brandon Aiyuk out there playing football week 10 against the Rams at home in a massive division game compared to rush back in week 7 or 8 against the Giants in MetLife Stadium and ding, bang, boom, it's over again. I don't want to see that. Don't rush him. Take your time. If it took me, and try to put yourself in Aiyuk's shoes, if it took you 10 weeks to be able to walk again, you probably are telling the team too, hey, we're going to take this puppy slow for my own benefit, for the team's benefit, for everyone's benefit. If he don't play in 2025, and I think he will, but if he doesn't, like, man, and Bobo, he coming in here making great points. They say here, the Niners rushed Christian McCaffrey back and it got worse. I won't say San Francisco, like, it's never on purpose, right? San Francisco obviously saw, hey, the year's kind of being lost. If we can get a 75% Christian McCaffrey back, then maybe we can, stir something up and get some wins. But you're right. He goes to Russia to get his Achilles fixed. Then he tears his PCL. And you're like, what just happened? Don't let that be the case again. You signed Demarcus Robinson for a reason. You have Jauan Jennings and you drafted Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing and Junior Burgess and Jordan Watkins for a reason. Like, you have some bodies, albeit unproven ones, in the building that you hope can fill the void in Aiyuk's absence. But if anything, people are focused on the wrong thing here. It is not that they was talking about trading me portion of it. It is he couldn't walk for 10 weeks. What does that mean for his recovery? That's the important part. And I get it. You see, like, who's Aiyuk talking about? Who's he talking to? Like, is he bitter? Is he angry? And the sentiment I saw regarding this, honestly, I think we're at a point where no one actually cares what he's saying. Because every comment was, one, either why is he mad? Or two, and I'll put it very bluntly here, what is he complaining about now? What is he bitching about now? And I don't think Aiyuk is complaining at all. I don't think Aiyuk is targeting the team at all. Aiyuk even talked about, or I guess posted about, after his last social media stunt when he was posting Terrell Owens shirtless in his driveway, like, I just like to have fun. I'm just messing around. You're taking things way too seriously here. And it seems like, and I get it, we are in the driest spell of the NFL offseason. Nothing's happening. We're looking for news. And it's like any small thing we're going to grab onto and say, stream about it, talk about it, post about it. And I totally get it. But Aiyuk literally just posts because he wants to, posts because he can. I don't think he meant anything by this. I think this is a targeted response, not of the team or teammates. This is a, guys, stop putting my name in these dumb mock trades. No one's trading for me. One, I got a massive contract. Two, I tore my entire knee to shreds and I couldn't walk for 10 weeks. Stop putting my name in these useless, dumb videos and mock trades. Like, enough's enough, guys. Like, it's funny. It is almost comical. On June 24th, leading into the July 15th training camp session for San Francisco, that we are still having the San Francisco 49ers should trade Brandon Aiyuk for whatever player or whatever picks. It's not happening. And Aiyuk is clearly saying here, knock it off. Cut it out. Like, why are we having these discussions still? Now, if you want to have discussions about other guys on the trade block, that's fine. Jalen Ramsey, Trey Hendrickson, we're going to do that today because those are more viable options. Those could maybe, albeit not likely, happen. But to toss Brandon Aiyuk's name out there over and over and over again, just as annoyed as you are to hear him or see his social media posts, he's equally annoyed seeing his name in these random posts about him being traded elsewhere. Even if he wanted to get moved at this point in June, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The time to trade him was April 1st before his bonus kicked in. It didn't happen. He's not getting moved. This is not a shot at the team. This is a shot at me, other content creators, other people on social media, X, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. This is simply him saying, you guys look like a bunch of idiots. This is hilarious to him. But this to me is not a big deal. I think those making it a big deal are kind of overshooting things a lot. This is not a big, it's not a non-story, but it is as close to like a meaningless social media post of just stupid like things. Like Aiyuk literally means nothing. He just having fun. He's joking around. He'll tell you as much. Now, we can go back and forth about should Aiyuk stay off social media. That's a whole different conversation. He's not going to. He realizes that, hey, as an athlete, especially now with a jacked up knee, I may need to find another avenue of income or maybe kind of gearing up towards the future post NFL. Now, he won't admit that to you, but him blogging, him on social media, like him trying to build his social media brand through YouTube to make money, obviously, you can see that he's trying to draw eyes to his YouTube channel. That's all this is. That's all this is. This is simply just Aiyuk having fun on social media, taking shots at content creators, not the team. Him and right now, Aiyuk and San Francisco are on good terms, from my understanding. But I want to stop there for 1 second because we have to get into a bigger conversation. Should the San Francisco 49ers make a trade offer for Miami Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey? I want to pause there for 1 second before you answer yes or no. I want you to go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. And also, you can use our promo code 49ersaccess, 49 ERSACCESS, the next time you go to a sporting event or buy concert tickets. Go to SeatGeek.com and use that promo code 49ersaccess and save yourself $20 off your first purchase. And if you love energy drinks or you love a healthy coffee alternative, you want to get yourself a can of goat fuel using our link down below. You can save yourself 10% off your purchase. It is the best tasting drink on the energy drink market. I like it better than Rockstar and Monster. I love myself some goat fuel, and it always helps knowing that Jerry Rice, the goat himself, is the founder and the creator. But let's now transition into the rest of the show because we have Kenny 49ers in here, Bobo, Kawachipto, Papa J, and many more. Tommy Huxley in the YouTube chat saying what's up. And I want to talk about Jalen Ramsey for 1 second because the San Francisco 49ers have some questions in their secondary. Now, many of those don't really stem from the cornerback room. They stem from the safety room. That being Mustafa being injured, Jair Brown, although having a procedure, may or may not be back by a training camp. The expectation is he'll be, but his sophomore season was really a big slumper, and it doesn't seem like he'll be back, or you hope he can come back to form in which you saw in his rookie season, but you just never know. You never know. You like Jason Pinnock and Richie Grant and George Odom, but some of those guys are likely to be more relegated to the special teams compared to being a starter. And so I think anytime you ask a fan base, do you want to improve your team? The answer is always going to be yes. And I am not someone that usually is like, well, it's the owner's money, it's cap space. If you can get better and you're in a window to win, the answer predominantly should always be yes. Make the move to get yourself a better roster. Make the move to put yourself in a position to win more football games and hopefully, in San Francisco's case, win a freaking Super Bowl. So the question is, should the San Francisco 49ers make a move, make a trade for Jalen Ramsey? And there is so much to like from a player like Jalen Ramsey. Also, a lot to make you say, I'm not sure that's the move for San Francisco. And I'll read them off to you right here. So the good thing is any team trading for Jalen Ramsey, whether it's San Francisco or somebody else, the Rams, the Chargers, the Steelers, I don't know, any team, they are going to have him under contract through 2028. So you're getting 3-4 more years of control of Jalen Ramsey. Now, the caveat to that is, one, he's a good player. He'll be older, though. He'll be in his 30s by that point in time. And two, there is an escalating cap hit. In 2026, $25 million. 2027, $26.8 million. In 2028, that puppy skyrockets to $36.1 million. Now, in every contract, there's always ways to get up out of it. There's always ways to decrease the cap hit simply by redoing it, renegotiating it, adding some void years. You can always kind of finagle your way through the contract, whether it's good or bad. San Francisco often tries to sign good contracts. Take Brandon Aiyuk for this case. If Aiyuk is on the team for the entire of his deal, or the entirety of his deal, he's not seeing the insane cap hits that'll be on the books the next couple seasons, right? They're going to lower those things, try to move some money around, give him a higher guarantee or give him a higher, signing bonus, whatnot. Like, they're going to move money around to avoid having all of that money on the cap. So there is ways any team trading for Jalen Ramsey can get out of it. Now, unfortunately, there's only so much you can do, and paying Jalen Ramsey, in this case, $36.1 million in 2028, this doesn't seem like a smart move a good franchise makes. Now, if you have a team at that point in time is saying, look, in 4 years into the future, the quarterback is maybe off the team, maybe some guys that are already highly paid are going to be retired, maybe you can open that for discussion for them. I think the Colts should be an option, but that's just me. I think a team like the Vikings should certainly be in that conversation, albeit Jalen Ramsey told the Dolphins he wants to go back to the West Coast. And then when you hear that, the instant thought is, okay, he wants to go back to the Rams. He wants to go to the Chargers, go back to Southern California, play there for a long time. With McVay and company, you can see him saying, look, I was in Miami. It's cool out here, but the team's in flux. have a massive contract. It ain't working out. Get me back to Los Angeles, whether it is with the Rams or the Chargers. But while I do think the Chargers, who he has a connection with Derwin James, and Jim Harbaugh, and the Rams, both those teams make sense. A lot of people are saying, well, what about San Francisco? The biggest beef he had was with Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's now gone. Is there a way you look at Jalen Ramsey and say, hey, like having Lenore and Bernardo Green and Jalen Ramsey as your cornerbacks is a lot better than having Lenore, Green, maybe Trey Brown, maybe Upton Stout, maybe Darrell Luter Jr. And I can see the San Francisco 49ers, at least on the theory side of things, saying, hey, getting Ramsey in here would be great. The fan base certainly would want him to a certain extent. Maybe there'd be some bad blood there with the Deebo Samuel stuff, but I can see some people saying, yeah, go get him. Why not? Now, when we were kind of picking and choosing between Jair Alexander and Jalen Ramsey, I would have much rather had Jalen Ramsey. But again, unfortunately, that contract is an albatross. And it's very rare you move those things. Now, I know that a lot of people want to see Upton Stout play, or okay having Lenore on the outside and Green on the outside, and you wouldn't want to mess with that. I do think that Ramsey would be phenomenal in the slot for us, or if you want to push Lenore in for a year or so. There's so many ways you can make it work. And I think Ramsey would be an excellent fit in Robert Saleh's defense. But the bigger concern with Jalen Ramsey is that contract and his age. And I think the one way you can sell me on trading for Jalen Ramsey is if he's willing to take a Charles Woodson-like maneuver and shift to playing safety maybe after this season, right? You're going to give Jair Brown one more year to figure things out. In the meantime, you have Lenore and Ramsey and Bernardo Green. You have Mustafa you like a lot, but you really, 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 really want that roaming free safety on the back end. I do think Ramsey could be that for them. Now, the crazy thing about this is if you look up the highest paid safeties in football, Jalen Ramsey would blow it out of the water, right? The biggest contract at this point in time is an $85 million deal for Kirby Joseph in Detroit for around $21.2 million, right? And Jalen Ramsey's contract, if you look at it on Spotrac, it's quite the scary thing to want to add into San Francisco's defense and on their books, knowing that San Francisco just gutted their entire defense trying to save some money. And I think if you want to add Jalen Ramsey and you think of the prospects of doing so, wow, this is great. You got to think, man, he's getting roughly $25 million a year. He'd be the highest paid safety in football, bar none. I don't really know why the Dolphins are wanting to trade him now. The dead cap hits around $50 million. Maybe there'd be some money being taken on by the acquiring team, but I do think that right now, San Francisco, overwhelmingly, maybe not from a talent perspective, but they are stacked at safety simply based on bodies. This is one of the bigger reasons as to why I didn't think San Francisco should acquire Jair Alexander, was because you have Lenore, Green, Trey Brown, Upton Stout, Marquis Siegel can also play cornerback in a way at nickel. You have Darrell Luter Jr., you have Cyril Neal, and some of those guys maybe aren't too committed to, but they're just there, and maybe you value those guys in their contracts and what they're giving you at a different rate than Ramsey, or Alexander in this case, excuse me. But then safety, you have Mustafa, who is probably going to come back by October, in my opinion, maybe late September, but my odds are saying early October. You have Jair Brown. You have Jason Pinnock, who's getting guaranteed money by you, or mind you. You have Richie Grant. You have Odom. You have Siegel. Like, you got like 6 or 7 guys already in that room. And sometimes a lot of these conversations, a lot of these trade talks simply come down to the best bang for your buck, right? I can think back to looking for buying a car. and I have my mindset on, I want a car under, $20,000, right? And you look and you look and you look and like, man, you really can't find the mileage you want. The car that's kind of new, like you'd be really particular in buying a car, right? And I think the same thing applies to an NFL player. You want to see how many miles are on the car and the player. You want to see, you know, how much is that car going to cost you per year? What's the down payment going to be? And how much mileage do you think it has left on it? Is it worth pouring money into? And while I do think Jalen Ramsey can elongate and extend his career moving to safety, um, a lot more comes into play than simply just player on the roster. Is Robert Saleh going to be here in 2 years' time? I don't know. Could be a 1-year stint, right? That could kind of muddy things up. Now, San Francisco, I think you can argue and you can point to, well, they gave Saleh the entire keys to the draft class. He picked like 7 of the guys. Like they said, here, fix our defense. The difference is you're paying 7 draft picks under $10 million a year minus Micah Williams. You're not paying a 30-year-old Jalen Ramsey $36 million in cap hits in 4 years' time, right? So I think a lot of that makes it a very clear resolution to if the San Francisco 49ers should make a deal for Jalen Ramsey. Well, I do think it wouldn't cost too much to go out and trade for him. I think it'd probably cost you a 4th-round pick, which I don't think San Francisco would be too upset about. Both the contract, the age, the fit post Robert Saleh, I do think Gus Bradley's in the building for a reason. Now, maybe I'm wrong there, but it does feel like he's in place as kind of the insurance policy. If Saleh leaves, you can certainly argue about KJ Wright, but my mind is really leaning towards Gus Bradley being the DC in 2 years' time. And I think if that's the case, there's a much cheaper option still in the free agency pool. If you are saying, wow, San Francisco really needs a safety upgrade, and I think it's right here by Kenny 49ers, yeah, I'd rather have Julian Blackmon. I think Julian Blackmon, who was in for a visit 2 years ago now, didn't come in for a visit this offseason, but is still a free agent, knows the wide 9 system with Gus Bradley in Indianapolis, now in San Francisco. I think he'd fit extremely well in San Francisco. I think he'd give you that roaming free safety we really want to have. I also think he wouldn't be tied down for a 4-year contract. You get a 1-year deal. I think he's a guy that wants to prove himself. I think wants to also, like any free agent currently on the market, either 1, wants an opportunity, but 2, wants the opportunity to come in a system that he fits in and has played well in before. That is Gus Bradley's defense as an assistant in San Francisco with Saleh being the DC. So I get it. The name attraction of Jalen Ramsey certainly lures you in. And I think there is a way to make that work, but there are so many small caveats and buts that make you say, I'm just not really sure that's the route they should take this late into free agency. Now, if the Dolphins are willing to eat some money and keep some money on their books and maybe make that work with the acquiring team, I think that would certainly open things back up for discussion. But I don't know if that's the case. All we know is currently he wants to play on the West Coast and wants to be out of Miami. I don't know what, there are a lot of teams playing on the West Coast, and how far west are you willing to go? Do you want to go, Rams and Chargers and Niners, or are you okay moving to Seattle, or maybe it's Las Vegas or whatnot, or Arizona, right? And that isn't the West Coast per se, but it's on the west side of the United States. So who exactly knows what Ramsey wants to do? But I think it's pretty clear that the Niners trading for Jalen Ramsey is 1, a long shot. But 2, I just don't think it makes much sense. I think that San Francisco's in a really good place from their rostering standpoint. And I think, San Francisco has done so well in recent years, especially at safety being one of the big examples. Signing a guy late in free agency and having them be a Super Bowl starting safety for them, that being Deshaun Gibson, I think Julian Blackmon could be that for you. You don't really know what you're getting from Jair Brown this year. You hope it's big things, but you just don't know. And I think that if you want to have a backup insurance policy that can also play special teams. And you like Richie Grant a lot, and I think he'll kind of be the first guy up for them at free safety. But Pinnock's getting guaranteed money. They're going to play free safety sets at this point in time this year. He'll be in the box at certain plays this season as well. So I just don't know. I think that San Francisco is kind of set. Like, they're not going to make any more big moves. They already got Bryce Huff. This team, I think, had a much bigger need at the defensive end grouping, and they did that. Getting Bryce Huff with Micah Williams. Like, I am much more concerned about Alfred Collins not signing yet, which I don't think is that big of a deal, but even then, you're not signed yet. I think they're waiting on guaranteed money for that. Thank you, Jaden Higgins, out there for setting the tone. So, like, what the heck, man? But I think they're done. I think this is the roster you're going to see going into probably preseason. That may change if someone goes down with injury, but if you are looking for the next edition of your San Francisco 49ers pre-week 1 of the regular season, I don't think the answer is Jalen Ramsey. I think the answer really is Julian Blackmon. He makes the most sense. He'd be cheap, be a 1-year deal, knows the defense, knows the system, and I think would be willing and open to joining this roster as a bench player initially, with the aspirations and a pretty good lane to start if Jair Brown struggles in his second year. San Francisco, we know, cannot afford to stumble their way into the season, so it's really, really, really important they make the right moves. And I think banking on Julian Blackmon is it's a much smarter move than paying big money for Jalen Ramsey after already trading for Bryce Huff on a 1-year deal. Strawberry Reacts says here in the YouTube chat, saying, I think it depends on what happens in training camp, and they will decide what is needed based on what they see from players on the roster. In the meantime, I would agree. I think that we as fans tend to say they have to get this guy. Sometimes the answer's on the roster, right? Like, sometimes, and you would think with how successful this team has been in previous years, we'd be a little more patient and just kind of wait things out and see what they're going to do. We've seen too many young guys step up, too many unsigned free agents or undrafted guys play big roles for the roster, and I think that would be where I'm leaning towards. But yes, if somebody gets hurt in training camp or someone is just outright god-awful, then you'll see a move being made. But in particular to safety, because that room is so loaded and you really can't make much of the defense in OTAs and minicamp, that competition in the secondary and really as a whole, cornerback 3 and the safety room, is going to be one to watch, and I'm really intrigued by it. But yes, training camp will be a big deal, preseason a big deal, but I do think that they are going to have their eye at least kind of tilted and kind of leaning towards, hey, what's Julian Blackmon doing if someone goes down or someone's not doing their job very well? Bobo says here, how about neither of those guys? Go with what you got now. And then that kind of piggybacks on what Strawberry is saying here of like, just see what you have in-house, then pivot elsewhere. And guess what? I wouldn't disagree. Really, really, really. I think that a lot of people, Kenny says here, Grant Cohn was saying Justin Simmons. I've been saying Julian Blackmon. I get the Justin Simmons thing. He'd be a true free safety, former All-Pro, Pro Bowler, very proven. I'm shocked he's still a free agent. That said, I think that he'd be kind of the in-between. Like, he'd probably want a 1-year deal, but like double-digit figures. And I don't think San Francisco wants to just eat that cap space up in one player, knowing they're going to pay Brock Purdy and Kittle and Warner and others big money down the road. And even Trent Williams said, hey, if I play great, I'm not going to say no to more money. So I'm not going to slight Grant for saying Simmons. I get it. But I think San Francisco, really wants it to be Mustafa and Brown. And if Blackmon has to come in, that's like an insurance policy for safety off the roster. Like, hey, emergency guy, get in there, and that you hope can kind of give you some bang for your buck, which is the biggest crux of my argument here. You're getting a bigger bang for your buck with Julian Blackmon than, say, Simmons or Ramsey, who are both going to expect to start at a position where San Francisco kind of likes the guys they already have in that room. So Kenny, I agree. Bobo, Strawberry, I also agree. And I do think that Papa J saying here, I think Upton Stout is going to be the best or the breakout player on the roster this year. Let's think. I think it'll be CJ West, but I think his Upton Stout, no one really knows who he is. Like, he's scouted, you look at him, you see the film, and we all said, really? Okay. All right, cool, Upton Stout. And I think that he'll be able to prove more people wrong, whereas everybody overwhelmingly loved Michael, Alfred Collins, and CJ West, mainly West being like the biggest home run for them amongst the fan base in the building or amongst, the grouping. So I really think that I think Upton Stout is going to be the one that surprises the most people, but I don't think he'll be the breakout player, if that helps you. Okay, let's end things here. It is almost 6 o'clock. I got to go make some dinner, and I got to turn on Love Island. God help me. Hudda needs to go home. They better bring Jeremiah back on Casa Amor. I am going to cry my eyes out. I have been standing on my couch the last week and a half screaming, take her out, take her out. I couldn't deal with it, but I'm going to go watch Love Island at 6 p.m., and I hope you'll do it with me. You'll see me on Twitter. You'll see me out there tweeting about Hudda and Jeremiah and Alandria, my queen, Shelly. Someone better love Alandria. She deserves that. And Amaya, don't cry, girl. Don't cry. It'll be okay. But let's end the show here. Send you off on your way into your hump day afternoon tomorrow morning. It'll be great for you. Middle of the week, you get some content out for you. Hopefully, as the week progresses, we get some more Niners news. And Brandon Aiyuk, for the love of God, stay off of social media. I know you won't, but for our saneness and in our sanity, get off the tube, brother. It's going to be okay. You're getting $30 million a year. Take a breather. But I get it. We're all joking. You're having a good time. I want to thank Papa J, Tommy Huxley, Kenny 49ers, Bobo, Strawberry, Kawa Chipto, and many, many more in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope you can like, share, and subscribe to the show. Follow us on social media at 49ers_access is the X or Twitter. 49ers.access is the Instagram. Go ahead and use that promo code 49ersaccess at SeatGeek.com and save yourself $20 off your first purchase and get that can of goat fuel down below by using our link and saving yourself 10% off your purchase at goatfuel.com. As always, my name is Sterling Bennett, and until next time, stay faithful.